But now that I have a player, I want to have a game. And that game is brought to us courtesy of Kevin, the game dev. Please, a little round of applause from our tiny audience that we have here, because as you know, we do have some people visiting us every now and again. So now I think we're about 10. So
there's more.
There's more and more.
With safe space.
Yeah. Hi, Kevin. You brought us a game, right?
Indeed, I brought us a game. So hi, I'm Kevin, or Hoot, as people would call me usually. Mm-hmm. And I'm bringing a game I've been working on with my small team for a while called Helvetii, which is a 2D character action game with some slight roguelite elements, and it's based on Celtic or Gaulish or Gallic, depending on who says it, mythology.
I mean, that sounds really interesting, and that's why we kind of made the connection, well, that's mythology and Hippolyta's mythology, so why not have her go at a game? You know what, let's just head into the trailer video that you brought us,
sure,
and then head into the game. Kevin, that looked amazing.
Thank you very much. Well, this trailer is actually quite old because it referenced our Kickstarter, which we actually did last year, which was quite successful, so we're very happy about that.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much. But we'll be able to see that quite a few things have a little bit changed in terms of visuals and stuff like that. So, but yeah, let's jump in.
So we want to go into the how to play or the new game?
Well, let's go quickly through the how to play,
Okay.
just so I can also kind of explain the basics of the game. So,
Okay.
it is an action game, which is very, very much inspired by... Originally, the game was inspired by works from a company called Vanillaware. For people who don't know, Vanillaware is a Japanese company who also do similar 2D action games like Odin Sphere, Dragon's Crown, Amasa, and recently they've released 13 Sentinels. And so the will was kind of to do something a bit similar in tone with like very illustrated style and stuff like that. And also to make it kind of different from roguelites and action games in general. So like the goal of this game is not just to finish a run and beat all the enemies, but try to do it as stylishly or like with as varied moves as possible. Because the game will rank you pretty much on how well you do in combat and like, but also like how much do you use the environment at your advantage, how much you get hit and stuff like that.
So then that was already the how to play. So
I know how to play.
we got a pro here. Well then, what do you think, Kevin? Are we gonna head into a new run?
Sure, let's go in. So You'll see also like, so this is a game that is based on Celtic and Gaulish mythology, specifically Helvetii mythology, hence the name. And for people who know it, the Helvetii were like a Gallic tribe that lived around the Swiss plateau from like, they were stretched from like, kind of where Lausanne is like the plateau up to where Zurich would be right now. So it was interesting for me also to make a game that is about something that we don't even really learn here that much. Like Helvetii, we kind of scoff around it, or like not scoff, we kind of surface level when we're in school and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, well, it would be fun to make a little bit of mythology around that bit. And you can even see that the map itself is kind of based around like, it's just a little bit north of the Lemanic Lake, like Neva Lake.
So, are we gonna go to Lausanne now, or?
So right now, technically, we would be like in, as the title says, like would be in Jura. So like, we would be.
Creux du Vent? Creux du Vent?
Yeah, like around that, like maybe like at the limit between Jura and Neuchâtel, like that region.
So that's stage one. I think this.
So you can start the stage. Let's start with Divico, which is kind of one of our three main characters. And Divico is kind of the instigator of the story and this whole thing. So you can see he has these growths coming out of his head. That's because he used these horns that come out of his forehead. That's because he used a power that he shouldn't have, because he wanted to win at any cost, use the power of the gods. But that backfired spectacularly against him. And so now he has to venture along with Renard is our second character. They are like a fox that got turned into a human. So like they kind of joined the team. And there's a third character that's not in the game right now, a druid lady called Nameos, who is also like kind of the older, kind of like the mom of the group.
Okay.
Her role is kind of to wrangle her two like very overactive.
So not only will they be different from a gameplay perspective, but also from a story perspective.
So they all play through the same thing, but they have slight gameplay changes. So Divico is like our main character, and like he's like more like pure strength. So his thing is like, okay, I'm just gonna brute force through a lot of different things. Renard, they are more like based around parry, so it's more about timing and like risk taking. And Namios, she'll be more about summoning like powers of nature. She has a girl with her, and like she's more about placement and strategy.
Should I start?
I would say so. Like, just.
Can I start?
You can.
You can.
I think the people at home also just want to like, stop talking. I want to see the game. It looks so cool.
Yeah. So like we're in the game right now. So as we play a bit, so shout out first to my team. So we are a small team based in Switzerland. So I'm from Lausanne. My colleague Isabelle Roesch, who lives in Zurich, who does all the programming. We also have an extra artist who also lives in Lausanne, Julie Berthold, sound designer Greg Bedford, and an amazing composer called Dale North, which you heard his work in the trailer.
Yep.
And we also have very much the luck of working with Emmy Evans, who did a lot of singing. Most people will know her for her work on Nier Automata.
Yep.
She also sang for Dark Souls 2, and she's doing a bunch of other works. We've been Kickstarted, so we have a very small team, but like we've been doing a lot of work on this game for a little bit now.
And you said like you had a Kickstarter last year. How long have you been working on this game in total?
So this game in total has been about like 2017 since the work kind of started earnestly, but like as it is with any games, that like it kind of goes up and down with like how fast we go. I said like since we've had like Isabel join the team like in 2018.
How do I get that key?
You're liking a key, so you have to get kind of lucky, either finding it in like pots it can break, or like
So you need the key.
Yeah, I need the key. Okay.
you do need a key. And so in these chests, you'll find items that can improve your runs every time you play. So like, and every time it's different. So like stuff like it will give you sometimes a double jump. It will improve your range attacks, can do stuff like that. And that's going to be different every time.
So now we see on the top right of the screen, there seems to be some kind of like a sectioned mini-map.
Yeah, so do you have a kind of a mini-map? So this is just mostly to indicate where you are, since the levels also randomly generated. So it's not much of a Metroidvania, because you don't go back to explore, but you want to tell you, okay, so each time encounters will be different, items will be different. the rooms you'll find will be different. So it's mostly to indicate, okay, where you are, stuff like that. So you can either go straight left. You can also go down if you press down and jump when you're over these branches, for example. So you hold down and you jump. There you go.
Okay.
And you can just go through this. So this is a dead end, but you might find some more of these.
Are you telling me that now?
Well, fighting is pretty much a big point of the game, and so you've seen before that at the end of each fight you're ranked.
Yeah.
So you get a little score, and basically it's ranking you basically on how well you do, how fast you are, how much mana do you expend, if you get hit or not. And depending on those ranks, you can get rewarded. So like the higher rank, the higher the chance of getting a... Oh, hello, someone's playing Farming Simulator. You get a higher chance of getting rewards like chests that will fall down. So sadly, you did not get one, sorry to say.
I still don't have a key, so...
Yeah, but you
I
can
have
get
to go look
keys
for
from
it.
those chests, etc., etc. You might also find a shop a little bit later. So right now, the only way forward is going left
Left?
on the mini map. Yeah, because
But-
the only
There's a chest.
there's a chest.
the same
you don't have a
chest.
key. You can go back if you find a key, but
She just
sometimes
wants shiny things.
sometimes the luck
She
will
doesn't
run out.
care.
My armor is shiny, and
Yeah.
I like the shiny stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, so every time is different as long as you get reward for that, and that was very important for us because there's a lot of roguelites right now.
Yep.
So it's like just recently, so Hades came out. Also, shout out to another really good one from my friends are working on called Going Under. And so when we started working on this, we kind of have like two very core principles. One is that we want to have a roguelite when you start the game, you already have like a very good core moveset, which is like we're very much in slow. I decided Vanillaware before, but like we also look at a lot of fighting games, so Guilty Gear. And
I mean, we saw it before with the how to play. I mean, it took Amila about a minute at the most, or half a minute, to learn the controls and hop right in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The controls are designed to be like simple to understand. Oh, shame. You got sniped by the little fairy.
I just wanted to say I'm normally more a PC gamer. I don't play console that much.
With controller.
But
Yeah.
but I like the...
But good question. So, would it be possible to play this game with mouse and keyboard?
Yeah, it's entirely possible. We actually also recently, so you can completely play with mouse and keyboard. You can also use the mouse to attack. So we are developing this for PC and Switch. These are our target platforms. So, but of course, it's going to be fully customizable later on for PC, so you can.
And right now we see that, as you mentioned earlier, it's procedurally generated, right? Or it's always random where you start, or what kind of maps you get, or it's directions you can go.
Yeah. So the rooms themselves, like the actual distribution of the rooms is always different, stuff like that. The rooms themselves will, if you can recognize a room, you'll be able to recognize what kind of encounter, but what type of room you'll be getting might be always different.
So then I see you have, are those 2 or 3 stat bars? You have, I assume, health. The other one would be mana, or
So yeah, you
endurance?
have your health, you have your energy meter, which is basically how it expands when you use projectiles. Also, when you have enough energy, you see these 2 icons on the top in the center that you can use either the left or right trigger of it. And these are important because these are your god summons, basically. These are your basically get out of jail free cards in certain situations, but you need enough energy to use that. And right now you see the one light up on the left, left trigger, and that will summon the goddess Artio, which is like a goddess of strength, nature, and also bears for some reason.
I want to see that.
Oh, and we have a shop with our local shopkeeper Bob.
Oh, Bob! Hello,
the
Bob.
shopkeeper, our resident owl, who offers you a bunch of different foods to eat. So very much inspired by Vanillaware. So Vanillaware games always have a lot of delicious looking food. So
ICG's fondue.
Yeah.
and we got a few
Easter eggs.
Oh,
Easter eggs, or let's say anachronistic, but food we really want to get
Yeah.
in. So fondue and stuff like that would probably not have existed, but we said, whatever.
Yeah.
We'll just get that in. There's also
You don't know, you weren't there.
Yeah, well, who knows? Maybe.
I always love that, if people get very, very protective of ancient history, and I know absolutely, or I'm so certain that I know how it was. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I mean,
Well, it's a funny thing about specifically this history
Yeah.
because there's not actually that much that's been written, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Celtic mythology in general, like most of it has been written by the Romans, who mostly wrote it as a way to make them look themselves better.
Exactly. History is written by the winners, right?
And so for the Celts themselves and the Gauls themselves, they didn't have written language all that much. Like they kept very little records. So when we started making this game, a lot of it's like we knew we could make it very.
Sorry.
Oh, cool! You even got like the introduction text.
Hey, I'm Bob.
Welcome to Bob.
Simple enough. Who came up with that?
He has numerous things to say if you keep talking to him. He'll like say stuff about like the monsters you encounter. Like
Oh, that's cool.
He'll start talking shit about the bosses and stuff like that because like he has a business to run, right?
Yeah, that's so cool. And then
Like
in the shop, what can you
The
buy in the
eyes.
shop? So we saw you had food, you could buy keys.
Yeah.
Can you buy like armor and weapon as well?
So you don't have your equipment is mostly based around the chest you find. So you don't get very specific armor or weapons, but in the chest you can get certain items that will improve. For example, okay, your thrown items will be a little bit better. So like Divico, for example, he has those throwing axes, and you get items like you can throw 3 at a time, or like those will like break the enemy shields.
So, but now I see you have 2 keys. Let's try and
Yeah.
find a chest.
Yeah.
Then.
You have sadly no money, but you do have 2 keys.
Yeah, now I have 2 keys and no money.
Yeah.
How do I get?
So down and jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I also saw that you have the combo meter. So that will just give you additional points, or
So the combo meter in itself is basically okay, how long can you keep a chain of attacks going? And this is partly influences your score. So of course, a higher combo will mean that your end score will be better. And like some people, like we have internal testers that have gotten very, very, very good at doing very, very high combos. And
what's
like
the highest?
I mean, that would be me, but that's cheating. But I've seen like I have 2 testers in particular. So shout outs to Freddie Esponi and Hal, who are like competing to basically breaking my game as most as possible.
Yeah.
Like they can do really, really crazy stuff already. Like they found out tech that I can't even do properly myself. Like, oh yeah, I can cancel this move immediately by doing this, or like changing all that stuff.
There's spike
So
ground.
this the goal of the game is like we've inspired by fighting games and action game, but like try to make it accessible. So like the controls themselves are pretty straightforward, but the goal is then even if they're straightforward, then you can find out a lot of different things. Oh, you might want to get
How
out
do
of
I
these.
get out of here? Oh my
There you
god.
go.
Oh, no.
Oh, cool! He killed himself. He
It
threw
was
it.
totally planned.
So now, if you have LT and RT, those you said you can summon gods, right?
Yeah. So LT is like the less expensive one. And so you have RTO, and when she comes out, she does a big, massive swipe in front of her, and that will just eject everyone.
Not again.
You might die to the spike. I was gonna say if you stay in them without jumping, you won't take damage. Sorry. A little
Oh,
bit late on
because
that.
if you land in the spikes,
if
that
you land,
hurts.
you take
Yeah.
damage, but
But
then once
being
you're in them,
oh,
yeah.
so you're basically just
I
killing
mean, I
yourself.
just run around it. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I thought I had to get up again.
Yeah.
Well,
The cool thing though is like if enemies fall in spike, they also die instantly.
Oh,
so you can
okay.
take advantage of that. And every level it kind of has like their own thing. So this level starts with spikes and explosive pods. We have level 2 already in the game. Like we'll have water that will slow you down, and enemies will take advantage of that and all that kind of stuff.
Stage 2, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. So how many stages are you planning to make?
So right now, because it's a run-based game, so there's not going to be that many. So because like we want an average run to last about 30 minutes or so. So there's going to be 4 levels. It will take you basically from you start in Jura, then you go kind of in the plateau. You kind of starts to join the Valles and kind of that region, and then you get to the big end level, which is kind of like this hellish landscape where the origin of the curse is.
So Zurich.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of, funny you mentioned that. So, as part of accessibility, and so because it is a game made in Switzerland, so in our language options, so we have a game in English, French, also Japanese, also stuff like that. But we also have an option for like Schweizerdeutsch.
Oh really?
You can play actually in Switzerland, although it is the.
Okay, I want to see that if you go to Bob's and he's like,
Yeah.
"Oi, Ich
Boy,
bin der Bob.
Grüezi.
Yeah, like ich bin Bob, and like all the interfaces will changes, stuff like that. So like
Oh, that's cool.
it's always very funny when we bring this game like to like Bern or Zurich, and also especially in Bern because it is like Zurich Schweizerdeutsch.
Yeah.
Like everybody in Bern starts to complain because it's not the actual Schweizerdeutsch that we used to. Like I don't know, I'm from the French part, so like.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Is there a double jump something?
No, but if you hold A, you should be able to jump higher, or you can.
Okay, good.
Also, shout outs to our very good voice actors. So I think we can hear it in the stream, but like we have our voice actor for Divico is called Jordan Goodman, who did like an excellent job. We have voice actors for all three of the main characters. Sina Breyer, she voiced Renard, and we have recently Tiffany Witcher, who has voiced our third character that we have yet to introduce.
That's really cool. See how much time we have? Okay.
Oh,
Let's
that was a
have
bad idea.
Amila play a little bit more, and I want to ask you. So, if people want to get into this game,
Yeah.
they want to get it or help test you or like get in touch with you guys. How is that possible? How can they get in touch?
So the best way you can help any indie game in general is like to wishlist them on Steam. So we have the game on Steam that you can wishlist. So you can already do that. Just put it on the list because it helps a lot for like visibility on Steam. We have our Kickstarter page where we continuously update with news. So like, okay, what we've been working on this month. We're planning to release a new demo actually very soon with all the like the improvements from here because you can actually currently play the Kickstarter demo, but it's quite old compared to this. Otherwise, yeah, you can follow us also on Twitter at Helvetii Game, which is also where we post a lot of screenshots and stuff like that. So in general, visibility is like the biggest like help you can give like to an indie game in general. And for as far as release dates go, so we recently announced a little bit of a delay because usually that's kind of how things go, sadly. But we're planning to release around Q3, so it's going to be end of next summer for the game on PC and Switch.
Well, now I
really
gotta
have
test
some-
the Noki.
I'm
you have
very
one
sad,
money.
like, you have some horrible luck. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, I'm used to that. So I don't have to go down again. Nope.
So you said like 40 minutes for one run. Is that for one stage or for both?
No. So as usually these run games go, so the point is like you'll get better and better, and we also plan to have accessibility options. So like, one thing you could do like before we end the stream, like we can change the game to Schweizerdeutsch and go talk to Bob. But like as you play these games, you get better. You start to learn the pattern of all the enemies because of course the first times you're gonna be like surprised by a lot of different things and learning how the different mechanics work. And the point is like a lot of these run games, like the more you play them, you kind of get into this meditative state.
Yeah.
When it starts going all by yourself. Like I've been playing a lot of Hades, for example, recently, and start going faster and faster.
Do you think this game would be possible to speedrun? Because
I hope so.
it still changes the levels the whole time?
Yeah. I mean, we've seen speedrunners for like other things like that, and speedrunners are really good at like understanding the RNG.
Yep.
So before you can go by. So if you go into the options, if you press start, okay, you can go to the options and to language, and then you can just switch. Okay, so we have Deutsch, French, English, and then we have the Schweizerdeutsch.
Musik gut stat.
Okay. Stetig terug. I don't even know how to pronounce, and you can back out.
True.
Trok.
Okay, there's
And then you can go talk to Bob.
Oh, this is the best thing I've seen all week. Beta.
So shout outs to programmer Isabel, who does all the translation for Swiss German. So big props to her.
Feder sind bis jetzt immer zurückgezogen und ruhig gewesen. Jetzt sind sie einfach überall. Ich kann nicht mal Bild sammeln, ohne sie zu verscheuchen. Oh my
That's
god.
awesome.
I want this game. I want it. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, no, this is
I've never-
basically
Yeah.
for you. Come on.
No, I've never heard like someone voice act in Swiss German. So like this is the first for me. It's like this is how it sounds like because I have no idea.
And with the eyes squeaking.
Yeah.
I can really imagine sitting there like, hello?
I think owls are so cute because they can't move their eyes, so they always have to like
Yeah, they have to swivel the whole head.
Yeah. Okay, so unfortunately, that is already our time for Helvetii. I would love to see more, but unfortunately, we have a lot more content coming your way.
Of course.
Kevin, thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Thank you very much.
I will definitely wishlist this, and I hope you guys do as well. And head over to, it was at Helvetii Game.
At the Helvetii Game, yeah.